Now, in the past, me and Jeff of Jeff Buys Cars fame have done several videos where we go through and pick out cars for less than £2,000 or £2,000 or less that you could go and buy today from Auto Trader, because why wouldn't you? And it came about the, what was that website called? £2,000 or less, or not £2,000, or whatever it was. It was really successful, and then it just disappeared. And me and Jeff talked long and hard about how we should resurrect the cars for under £2,000 thing. And he has now started a Facebook page, Cars for £2,000 or less. And people are putting cars on there. So it's working, because a couple of grand to get a car with an MOT on it that you can have some fun in, instead of putting £2,000 deposit down on a Vauxhall Mocha or, similar thing. Get a car with a bit of character, have a bit of fun. That was the premise behind it. Now, because, milk floats have been around for a while now, and because their second-hand values are, I think you'll find they're holding really well, and there are some absolute no, they're fucking plummeting. Like Wile E. Coyote charging off a cliff and then going, and then there's this at the bottom, and then Roadrunner comes to the edge of the cliff, looks over, goes, meep, meep. Roadrunner is a petrol-driving V8, man, leaning over the cliff and looking at the milk float that's in a pile of dust down below, just before a boulder lands on top of it, once Wile E. Coyote sticks his head back out with a little umbrella above him. Again, meep, meep. Wile E. Coyote is the milk float. What a beautiful analogy that was I've just come up with. Nevertheless, because Wile E. Coyote is the milk float, it means that you can now buy milk floats for less than £2,000. They are now in the £2,000 bracket. They are accessible. But the question is, the question, as I put in the title, you can now buy an EV for less than £2,000. But should you? Question mark. What's going on here? 5 Series Touring turning around in the background here. I don't recognise that car. Who's that? Don't know who he is. I have to get out and clean the streets in a minute. So, I've found 3 on Auto Trader for sale right now. These are not non-runners. These are not ones with faults. These are all ones that are legitimate, for sale, ready to go milk floats that you could buy today with your £2,000, and you could be part of the future My Arse generation. First one up, not surprisingly, it's a Nissan Leaf. They've been around longer than anything else. So there's always going to be more of these about. This particular one is a 2011 one. It's up for £2,000. It comes with a full MOT. It comes with a range of allegedly 109 miles. And I'd like to point out that 109 miles, fuck me. You got to be driving at a steady 55 miles an hour in perfect conditions on a flat road to be able to get 109 miles. I very much doubt you'll get 100 out of it. And bearing in mind, you ain't buying this to do any distance in it. It literally is a shopping trolley. But if you've got a little commute, like from here to St Austell is 3 mile. So if you can do 6 mile a day, you could probably do it. Charge it once a week, and it'd get you there and back for relatively nothing. I mean, you would have no soul left. You'd have no life force left, and you would be ridiculed by your peers. But let's not rule it out. It is available for £2,000, and it is a possibility. Now, I did find another Leaf. This one is a slightly newer model. This is the 2014 model, and it's 1,500 quid. 500 quid cheaper. You're already 500 quid better off. I mean, imagine that. Imagine what you could do with that 500 quid. Well, actually, I'll tell you what you need to do with the 500 quid. You need to pay for your battery lease, because the battery lease on this thing is £91 a month. Now, you can see why this never took off as a concept. Leasing a battery for your car, like leasing an engine for your petrol car, because that's an extra £1,000 a year. So your running costs are already £1,000. That's not to have a fully charged battery. You've still got to charge it using the trickle charger, which will take about 24 hours to get your 100-mile range out of it. But nevertheless, for 1,500 quid, if you are, I mean, let's face it, if you've left your padded cell and managed to get out of your straitjacket and you still think that that's a worthy purchase, just do what that prisoner did when he got released early and he hung around outside the prison gates and went, all right, yeah, I need to come back in. Is that all right? Can I come back in? I mean, I shouldn't be out here. I should be in there locked up because A, it's warm and dry in there and I've got a PlayStation and 3 meals a day. And B, I don't want to get done for breaking out of prison when it was your fault you let me out. A very similar thing if you were going to buy this particular Nissan Leaf. Just go back to the mental institution and just ask politely to have your straitjacket back. I'd like to go back in the cell now, please. Thank you very much. Yes. And then the other one I found, I mean, yeah, brace yourselves. It's the Citroen C0. It's exactly the same as the Peugeot Ion. They are exactly the same car. But it's only 1,850 quid. And to be fair, in the description, he describes this as a commuter vehicle. Because that's exactly what it is. It's no good for anything else but commuting over short distances. And again, you want to be commuting in the dark with that. You'd really, and you'd have to come home and hide it. Maybe park it around the corner from your house and then try and walk around without anybody seeing you because you don't want anybody to know you got one of those. But anyway, what I have proved, collectively, is that for less than £2,000, you can buy yourself a milk float and enter the milk float market at an entry level without spending 40 grand on something that will be worthless in 3 years. These things have literally depreciated all they can. I mean, you're still not going to make a profit when you sell it on, but you'll make a slightly less of a loss than you would if you bought a brand new one. This is proper consumer advice. I know, and it's free. I'm the gift that keeps on giving. I say it's free. You do need to watch some adverts. Make sure you watch the adverts. It's the only reason I can afford to go to Cheltenham tomorrow is you lot watching the adverts. Thank you in advance. Hopefully, I'll win some. So then, what I did was go, well, if you didn't want a milk float and you had £2,000, what could you get for your money that would be at the, let's say, the other end of the scale to the Citroen Ion C0 and the Nissan Leaf with battery lease payments as extras? So I've picked three. You know exactly where this is going. You could write down on a postcard what 3 cars I've picked. So see how you get on. Because the first one, Jaguar XJ8, 3.6 V8, 262 brake horsepower. Check her out. I mean, it's a Jag. Why wouldn't you want that instead of a Nissan Leaf? Look at it. I mean, that's a proper British car right there, isn't it? You could park that outside your house and be proud. People would think you're either a drug dealer or running a very low-key security firm. But nevertheless, what a car. 1,795 quid. I mean, I gotta admit, I am tempted. I don't know what location this is in. How many miles away is it? Does it say? Location map not available. I don't know. Oh, I do like it though. I do like it a lot. But then again, I also like this. Porsche Cayenne. 4.2 V6 this time. Bigger engine. 250 brake horsepower. Bigger engine. Less power than the Jag. Much heavier. But nevertheless, nice bit of luxury motoring. Not the greatest on fuel. Makes the Jag look like a 2-litre diesel. My good friend, Mr. Lord Andrew Bragg, had one of these. I sold it for him. It's not the greatest on fuel. I mean, I've driven properly, and by properly, I don't mean at a steady 55 mile an hour. I mean properly. You're going to get 10, 12 miles to the gallon out of it. But nevertheless, it's a Porsche. It's a V6, and it's parked outside your house. And it's still better than a Nissan Leaf or a Citroen C0, whatever it was. But without doubt, my favourite one. Bearing in mind, this is cars less than £2,000. And sometimes you just want a bit of luxury. And let's face it, the most popular chauffeur-driven car in the world, the S-Class Mercedes. And I guarantee you this was once a chauffeur-driven car. I mean, yes, it's done 180,000 miles, but it's got a 5-litre V8. It's got 307 brake horsepower. And it's got every toy known to man that was available at the time of manufacture, which was in about 1873. All right, it's a few years old. What year? Why? What's that? 2000? 2001. So it's 25 years old. Hey, I want to qualify as a classic next year. But 1,650 quid. That's nearly the same price as the Nissan Leaf with the battery lease, but you don't need to lease the batteries. You get a 5-litre V8 for free. You don't have to pay any lease payments on it. And you can have that. And imagine it, just driving around. I'm just going Tesco's. That's 20 quid. Yeah, but it's only a mile down the road. Still going to cost you 20 quid. My missus is now sweeping the outside of the house. What the fuck's going on here? She don't even sweep the inside of the house. But for some reason, she's sweeping cobwebs off the letterbox. What the fucking hell's going on? That'd be a HRT. She ain't taking HRT yet. Won't be long. It's just between me and you. She don't watch these fucking videos. We're safe there. Though somebody will now tell her. If it's you, you dirty grass. I know it was you. So there you have it. In conclusion, for £2,000, you could have yourself a Nissan Leaf. You could have yourself a Nissan Leaf, which you got to pay monthly payments on the battery for, or you could have a Citroen C0. There was a Peugeot Ion as well. You know, if you don't like the Citroen badge and you want the Peugeot badge, at the end of the day, it's a French Stellantis thing. Both the same thing, both exactly the same inside, different badges. Or you could have a Jag, a Porsche Cayenne, or the Mercedes S-Class, S500. And what you could do, if your kids have passed a test, like now all 5 of mine have, come on! Lifts for life. You'd sit in the back and get them to drive it, put them on the insurance. I mean, it's going to put the insurance up a couple of quid. But for just for the novelty of just sitting in the back of the car going, take me down the club, will you, please? I want a pint. Maybe get them to wear a hat while they do it. Why not? Live the dream. Enjoy life. Because you would be enjoying life in that as much as you would be enjoying misery if you were in the Nissan Leaf or the Ion or whatever it is. Because I used to have a catchphrase when I was Mr. Cakey T. Nothing spreads joy like Cakey T. I've actually got it on a plaque above my pub next to the house. And it was true. Nothing spreads joy like Cakey Tea. And I think my new catchphrase should be, nothing spreads abject fucking misery like a 2011 Nissan Leaf with a battery lease payment on it. I mean, it's not quite as catchy. Probably won't go on a t-shirt. I definitely wouldn't end up on a plaque. But nevertheless, it is an accurate catchphrase. So there you have it. Consumer advice as it stands on buying cars for less than £2,000. And the question was, you can now buy a milk float for less than £2,000. But should you? And the answer is, absolutely fucking not, you idiot. Future my arse.